said, like, my son seems to be mature and physically ready, moving away at an early age, versus NCAA kid moving away at 18, ready to physically and mentally explode at 18 to 21.
Yep.
Jonathan Taves. So Jonathan Taves is a good example of what we were just talking about. Jonathan Taves is Jonathan Taves. North Dakota had nothing to do with him being Jonathan Taves.
Yeah.
He could have played for, the Interkip.
It's okay.
The Interkip Rebels.
Yeah.
And he would have played in the NHL because he's just that good. So it wasn't. He had a choice to do whatever he wanted at 18. Moving away, yeah. Listen, to be a hockey player, you have to be. Oh, by the way, my son, I would consider him mature, more ready than most people would ever be. Is he physically ready? Kinda. He's still a little boy.
Yeah. He's
only 15.
Mm-hmm.
So he's got a long way to go. So at 18, he's going to be a hell of a lot more physically ready.
Yeah.
And I would assume more mature.
Well, let me throw a couple on that. So Jonathan Taves, there's an example, right? Like, so this is what I laugh at when people and Mike, I'm not picking on you for asking the question. I'm just saying. So when people use extreme examples, like guys that are the best of the best of the best,
yeah,
like they're usually the exception, not the rule. So if you're going to compare yourself to Patrick Kane or Jonathan Taves or Connor McDavid or whoever else, Jack, you want to compare to those guys? It's like, okay, it's almost certain you're not one of those guys, right? So when you're asking these questions, like these guys never had to make a choice.
That's right.
These guys were just given the best of the best offer off the hop, and they didn't have to think about one thing. Yeah. It's like, Jonathan Taves, here's your full ride to North Dakota. It's like, that's not a hard decision to make. Yeah. You know?
And he's only there for 1 year.
You know what I mean? Connor McDavid, like, you're going to the NHL. Like, you're the underage first overall pick, and you scored however many goals your first season. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's like, these are guys that don't have to make these decisions.
That's right.
So they're not the best examples when we're talking about this. It's those in-between guys, like those, and that's the majority of guys. Yeah. Right? So that's more who we're talking about. So that's the first thing. And then talking about Charlie, physically, when we say Charlie was ready, that's not really the best way of saying it. Charlie was probably the most ready you could be as a 15, 16-year-old. That isn't to say he's ready, because the guys that are ready are the 18, 19-year-olds that have matured into their body a little bit more. Yeah. So I want to just qualify that one a little bit as well.
Yeah. Yeah. But you're definitely, at 18, 21, you're going to be more ready. I always made the argument, and it's not going to change, so it's a moot point. But I truly believe that the hockey players would be served better if the CHL started at 18 rather than 16, 18 to 21 league. I think it would be a lot better for everybody, and you would have a better development league coming up. But it's not going to change. It is what it is, because it's a business, right?
And for Charlie too, it's not like Charlie wouldn't benefit from marinating for 2 years
100%
to grow. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like, if Charlie got to sit and play junior somewhere for 2 years, like physically that would for sure be a benefit for him, right? Yep. So it's not like, oh, he was so ready at 15 that he could just jump up. And some people are, like, some people have their man bodies and don't grow anymore.
But even having said that, I still think, like, when Aaron Ekblad, when he became exceptional status in the OHL, and I even say McDavid, I don't care. Like, I'm going to stick with this, and I believe it. It's like, I don't think the 1 year early, like you're going in as an exceptional status instead of 16, you're going in at 15. I don't know if that's necessarily a benefit, because you could play a junior B or a tier 2 level of hockey or major midget, and instead of scoring 100, you score 200 or 150. Well, and you have more confidence in you play. I don't think it makes a difference. My personal opinion.
No, and I agree, because there's, like, so for somebody like Charlie, he can jump in and maybe handle that a little bit better. The gap, like the size gap, because he's a little bit more ready than the next 16-year-old. Yeah, but it's still a huge gap.
It's huge, man.
So it might, for a lot of kids, like, it's too much of a gap. So you want the top end of the league you're playing in to still be something that's manageable. Yeah. You know? And for a lot of kids like the OHL, it's not manageable. And that's why they say, oh, you need a year of junior B, or you need a year to play junior A, or you need another year to develop before we're going to bring you up here, right? And that's where that comes from a lot of the time, because the gap is just, it's too much for you to handle because you're a lot younger, you know? Yeah. So it would be a benefit for anyone to get an extra couple of years of growth, for sure. It's not like very few guys are just hopping in ready to go.